What's going on, guys? Tower number 9 here, and we are about to play the third and final round of this draft. Wow, we both got 12s on that roll off somehow. Oh, my opponent gets an 8. I am currently 1-1, and if I can win this one, we're going to go 2-1 overall for the draft, which is usually my goal with these things. So, yeah, I'm playing against gtellor, who is playing a blue Boba. I am playing yellow Tarkin. This one looks like a keeper. Oh man, this is a solid hand. So we'll resource the syndicate lackeys here, I think. And one of these resupplies, we have a very solid 2-drop resupply, one of these ambushes. Seems like a or 2-drop resupply, either an ambush with Bosk or the steadfast battalion, who has a lot of stats. Could be a great start. Let's see if I can make good on it. We'll lead off with the Outer Rim Headhunter, 2 cost 1/3 with raid 1. On attack, if you control a leader unit, you may exhaust a non-leader unit. My opponent's going to bring out the Scout Bike Pursuer, 2 cost 1/4 with grit. I'll just go ahead and take the initiative here. Draw 2, Snowtrooper Lieutenant and Gladiator Star Destroyer. Honestly, good cards. Honestly, good cards. The Snowtrooper Lieutenant is a nice little trick. The Gladiator is like a bigger card, though, and I think we're going for a big card game plan. We'll resource there. I'll lead off with 2 damage from the Outer Rim Headhunter, and then we're going to go into the resupply. 1 damage there. Resupply. Put this event into play as a resource. The Scout Bike Pursuer is suffering a bit from me not having units in the ground arena right now. My opponent does bring out a 7th Fleet Defender, though. A great counter to my Outer Rim Headhunter. Okay, sometimes this happens. Someone brings out a unit that can counter you. It's just kind of the way it is. We will persist. So probably what I want to do here is, so I probably want to use Bosk. Yeah, what we'll do is we'll use Bosk to get the kill on that Scout Bike. And I have the initiative. Okay, actually, what we'll do, so we'll use Bosk to get the kill on the Scout Bike. Bosk taking 1 damage there. The Scout Bike's grit not paying off since he gets defeated in 1 shot by Bosk here. And so now my opponent uses the Defender to kill the Headhunter, losing only a shield. I'm going to go ahead and get Tarkin on the field. My opponent plays the Wilderness Fighter, a 2/4 with shielded. Still has a resource. Tarkin could attack, but doesn't actually do a lot if he does. I think I do want to knock the shield off this guy, though. So we'll go ahead and do that. My opponent might have another play, or that might just be the end of the turn. But I do have to be ready for Boba to deploy. The Steadfast Battalion might have been a better play than Bosk, just because it would put me in a better spot for Boba. But, we'll have to see. Looks like he has a 1 cost, though, which I'm actually happy about. It'll give me the initiative for the next turn. Okay, a Resilient on the Wilderness Fighter. I'll just take initiative. So he has a 2/7 Wilderness Fighter. Nice. Surprise strike. What a draw. Love to see that. Okay, so what that's going to let me do is I can surprise strike Boba with Bosk when he deploys, and I'll use Bosk's ability to deal damage to the Defender and remove it as well. The only problem is I won't be able to spend my other resources efficiently. Is that enough of a problem for me to not do it? Nah. I guess what I'll do is I'll first max firepower and kill the... Is that worth it? Yeah, first I'll max firepower and kill the Defender. Or no, first I'll just have Bosk... Oh, no, wait, no, I can't do that. First I will max firepower into the Defender and kill it. Hopefully my opponent doesn't have removal for Bosk. If he has removal for Bosk, this ends up being very sad. Four resources. Please don't kill Bosk. Lieutenant Childson. Okay. Giving him +1/+1. Okay. Let's see. So we can't have We can't kill Boba with Bosk. What we can do here is we'll just kill Childson with Bosk. You know, we don't get the big result, but we'll still get that kill. Bit unfortunate. Turn ended up not being quite what I was hoping for. My opponent plays a Moment of Peace to shield the Wilderness Fighter. Tarkin will knock the shield off the Wilderness Fighter. Don't want that guy killing Bosk for free. He probably should still attack and kill Bosk here. Would be pretty odd not to, in fact. Yeah, and he's going to do it. And then Boba can deploy and defeat. Boba can deploy here and defeat Tarkin. I will take the initiative. Oh, opponent doesn't deploy Boba for some reason. I'll take it. Um, Not sure what the story is there. Should have deployed Boba, did not. And hopefully I will be able to... We're going to resource this Steadfast Battalion because it's kind of a clunky card. What I'm going to do here is I will buff Tarkin with my TIE Advanced, and now Tarkin can potentially do the Surprise Strike play to defeat Boba. With the TIE Advanced giving 2 experience tokens to Tarkin, he's in a good spot to attack and remove Boba when he deploys, thanks to the Surprise Strike. Opponent hits the base for 2. I'm going to just say pass. Let's get Boba on the field. Opponent spends 5 resources for the Rugged Survivors. Okay, pass here. Not what I most like to do, but given the Rugged Survivors are so strong here, I can't actually remove them with Tarkin unless I spend the Surprise Strike, which I don't want to do. If he gets to deploy Boba after I attack and kill the Wilderness Fighter, for instance, then this unit has a really powerful on-attack ability to potentially draw a card. I have to just pass here and wait him out, I think. I could be wrong, but my thinking is, you know, we'll take out Boba when the time comes. No, he's just taking the initiative. Okay. He's already lost out on huge value by not having Boba hit the field, so I guess at this point he thinks maybe he's committed to it or something. I'm not entirely sure. Uh, or he just knows that I have an answer waiting, you know. So we'll see. Maybe he'll do an attack with the maybe he'll do an attack with the Rugged Survivors or something instead. 3 resources for another Rugged Survivors. Okay. So Rugged Survivors is a kind of mid card. It's not really something that I'm afraid of. It's not really something that I think is a big issue for my deck. Um, we will go ahead and play a 7th Fleet Defender, which comes into play with a shield. 2 damage to the base. I will play, well, let's see. I could just, I'm going to play, no, 3 damage to the base. I'm taking my time here. He can hit Tarkin with the Rugged Survivors, which is good for him. Um, Brings out a Crafty Smuggler. We're going to go ahead and play General Veers. So that gives Imperial units +1/+1, which includes Tarkin. Now the Rugged Survivors cannot attack and kill. If they attack into Tarkin, Tarkin actually kills them. Opponent starts to deploy Boba, but balks at it. Okay. He kills Veers with the Rugged Survivors. He is now 2 turns late on Boba. I think we say pass. He plays Boba, and here's the surprise strike, killing Boba. and giving an experience over here. And we take 4 damage, so now over to 8 damage. Now he does have a lot of units in the ground arena right now, which I don't like. Um, and I need to get some ground arena stuff to deal with that because I do not have it right now. He takes the initiative. We're going to draw on it. Okay, nice. Strike True will clear those rugged survivors. Steadfast Battalion will probably just take the field as a big unit. Let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I guess I should actually resource the Steadfast Battalion. Yeah, I think it makes more sense to just push for damage here. I'll resource the Steadfast Battalion. We're gonna play the Gladiator. We're gonna do Strike True. We're just gonna trade arenas. I think that's correct. I could be wrong. Bit of an odd game. Okay, so he's gonna use the cartel or the crafty smuggler. He accidentally removes it, but it's still alive. It just loses its shield. Strike True, kill the rugged survivors. Friendly unit deals damage equal to its power to an enemy unit. And now he has these 3 units. They're tough units. They're hard to kill, but they only do 2 damage each. My 2 ships that I already have in space outdamage his ground arena. Um, and I'm about to play a gladiator as well. Cartel Spacer hits the field. That will get to exhaust my defender. That's a bit annoying. So then we're going to have tie advanced into the base for 3. Base for 2. Okay. We will go ahead and play the Gladiator Star Destroyer, give it a shield, or give it, that's not a shield, give it Sentinel. Opponent plays a Snowtrooper Lieutenant. Okay. Doesn't use its ability. I'll just take the initiative. Hits the base for 2. A lot of small units here from my opponent. Crafty Smuggler and Snowtrooper Lieutenant, not the best draws for me, but my Crafty Smuggler can cause some problems for my opponent. My Snowtrooper Lieutenant can do at least something. This Sentinel goes away. So what we'll do here is we will lead off. I'll lead off by, so at this point, the focus is on the enemy base. So my tie advanced will swing in for 3 damage to the base. He can trade it with the Cartel Spacer, but I'm fine with that. If he has a surprise strike, even then his Cartel Spacer does not clear my Gladiator. My Defender is shielded. He can trade with the tie advanced, but that I already got my value. Okay, so we'll trade. I will then. I'm going to go ahead and play the Snow Trooper Lieutenant and use that to send the Defender into the base, taking 6 damage. We'll see if he has an answer to my Gladiator. I did the Defender first because he is vulnerable to takedown. He has a Waylay for the Gladiator. Okay, that's fine by me. We'll just replay the Gladiator. And we'll use it to give Defender to the Snowtrooper Lieutenant so he has to waste an attack clearing it. He has many units that can attack into it without dying. So if he'll just pick one of those, probably, I guess, okay, so for some reason he doesn't do that and trades there instead, it would be a lot better to just use the one of the Wilderness Fighters. I'm going to go ahead and use Tarkin's ability to put an experience on, I guess we'll put an experience on the Gladiator here. Opponent plays another Crafty Smuggler. I'm going to take the initiative. 2, 2, 2, and I think that's it for the turn. Still not drawing the larger units that I'd really like to see at this time in the game. That's a bit unfortunate, but I do think that I currently have the advantage. I think I currently have the advantage in space. I am pushing 10 damage a turn. He is pushing 8 damage there, and I'm already ahead in this race. So we'll lead off with the Gladiator swinging in for 6. Opponent hits me for 2. 7th Fleet Defender swings in for 4. And at this point, I'm in a very strong position. All I really have to do is take the initiative. I guess I should probably deploy Boba Fett first or something, maybe. Yeah, it's probably reasonable to deploy Boba Fett first. This is a very favorable situation for me. Um, there just really isn't a lot that my opponent is doing right now that is scary to me. We have the yeah, I mean it's really just not a very threatening situation. Okay, he does have a vanquish and takes out that. This is still lethal damage, so what we're going to do is play Boba. That's another source of lethal damage, and then we will take the initiative after this, I think. I guess we actually should have just taken the initiative directly. It doesn't make sense to play Boba here because the thing is, there's nothing he can play for 2 resources that stops my defender. Oh, I guess he could entrench the defender. Okay, so I'm just gonna take initiative. Okay, and he concedes. Good game. Cool. Round 2. Well, the first game was a very clean win. I had a really good start there. It went on a little long because of his delayed Boba deployment and myself delaying Tarkin for a bit as well, but the overall situation was very strong. And once again, we have a really strong start here. This is so solid. We're going to do Crafty Smuggler. We can then go into, it probably ends up being depending on what happens, I guess, we could go Resupply or Super Laser Tech. I think we're going to take the Resupply because it's more reliable here. Um, And then we have an Emperor's Royal Guard that we can play out once Tarkin hits the field. We also have the Syndicate Lackeys. Really a lot of options. My opponent will get to go first this time. Let's see if we can get a 2-0 in this. Let's see if we can get a 2-0 in this match and end the draft with a 2-1, which is usually where I want to be. That was still remembering the epic match against Wu that was the previous video in this series. If you guys want to check that one out, that was you may well have already seen it. It was a great match. That's what I'll say about it. I'm not. I've sort of spoiled the result here, but not entirely. If you haven't seen either of the previous videos, so I will. I have no further comment. You should check that one out. It was a great match. Okay, so let's see what my opponent does. Starts off with a 2/1B surgical droid, 1 cost 1/3. On attacking, may heal 2 damage from another unit. Kind of a weaker card. Crafty Smuggler on the field for me comes into play with a shield. We'll see if he has another 1 drop. It's possible. Nope, just going to be initiative taken. Okay, and I should exhaust both my resources. I only exhausted 1 for some reason. That was a mistake. I was going to say misclick, but I don't know if it was a misclick exactly. Okay, we'll resource the Gladiator here. We don't immediately need it. We're going to have this other stuff. My plan is to resupply this round. Opponent plays a Death Trooper, dealing 2 damage to the medical droid and knocking the shield off of the Crafty Smuggler. We'll have the Crafty Smuggler take out the medical droid. Would have, yeah, it's interesting. I could deploy this Emperor's Royal Guard, but I think I want to go for the. Yeah, I think. Yeah, the Royal Guard doesn't actually have Sentinel right now, so we're just going to go for the resupply. Put this event into play as a resource. Don't mind if I do. Next turn. We're going to resource the AT-AT. I know this opponent has Waylay, which is a great counter to that AT-AT. And I would rather not walk into that. Opponent hits my base for 3 here. Probably would have been better to go for the Crafty Smuggler. Um, but didn't go for that. We're going to play No, we're not. We're going to deploy Tarkin. Still falling for that state change thing. He plays a 7th Fleet Defender, very solid card. Okay, so he only has 1 resource now. What we're going to do is Crafty Smuggler will hit the Death Trooper and be defeated. Tarkin will also hit that Death Trooper for lethal, hopefully. And we'll deploy the Steadfast Battalion, which will then be a great answer for Boba. Ooh, a smuggling compartment on the Defender. That's okay. Death Trooper off the board. Smuggling compartment is a cool card. 1 cost attachment with +1/+1. Attaches only to a vehicle. Attached unit gains on attack ready resource. And then we're going to bring in the Steadfast Battalion. So the Steadfast Battalion is a 5/5 with Overwhelm, and on attack, if you control a leader unit, give a friendly unit +2/+2 for this phase. This unit can kill Boba on its own, putting me in a pretty solid spot. What we're going to do this round, we're going to be on 6 resources, so it's probably going to be one thing we could do is buff Tarkin with the TIE Advance. We could also do Emperor's Royal Guard. Let's see what the opponent is thinking this time. I think I like the idea of buffing Tarkin here. Something for 5. Oh, okay. So it ends up being a Syndicate Lackeys which trades there. That's a fine play. Nothing wrong with that. So what I will do is I will deploy my Emperor's Royal Guard. It gains Sentinel because Tarkin is here. And if I then attack into his base with Tarkin, I will be able to give a experience to the, what is he doing? So he attacks there, and then I'll let him take that back. He wants to take it back, that's fine by me. Okay, so he deploys, no, he's rethinking that. Okay, so he plays, not legal. He was going to play a Snow Trooper Lieutenant for a buffed attack. Can't actually do that until he attacks with Boba. So Boba's going to take the field. I will go ahead and Snow Trooper Lieutenant Tarkin into my opponent's base and give an experience to the Royal Guard, getting it nice and cleanly out of Boba's range to defeat in 1 shot. If Boba attacks into it, he will take 4 damage. That's exactly what he's doing, so 4 damage there. And 4 damage to Boba. He does get to ready up some resources. I'm just going to take the initiative at this point. We'll probably see that Snow Trooper Lieutenant, allowing that to hit my base for 6 total damage. Since it's buffed by both the Snow Trooper Lieutenant and the Smuggling Compartment, he then gets another resource back. I ready the resource for him there. So that looks like that's it for the turn. Okay. Boss. Boss taking out Boba seems pretty solid to me here. I think it makes more sense to have the Royal Guard take out Boba. Well, no. One, two, three, four, five, six. Probably do want a resource here. Okay, so what we'll do here is we'll just trade there. Boba off the field. We still have Tarkin and the Snow Trooper Lieutenant. Let's see what happens next. The space arena is a little not great. I need to draw a maximum firepower to deal with that. I do have several copies in my deck, but I have not seen them yet. My opponent trades Snow Trooper Lieutenants, which I'm happy with. He's the aggro right now. So trading is not his game plan, I believe. I could be wrong, but my assessment is that my opponent's the beatdown. I'm the control. Buff Tarkin with a tie advanced. Opponent plays a crafty smuggler. I'll bring out the Homestead Militia, which has Sentinel, because I control 6 or more resources. System Patrol Craft. Tarkin into the base, giving an experience to the tie advanced. And he's going to go for the base here. I think that's a substantial misplay. I'll take the 4, but now I'm poised to remove his System Patrol Craft, whereas he could have cleanly defeated me otherwise. Take initiative, and we'll draw up. Didn't draw. I didn't draw the max firepower that I would really like to see. I think we don't resource here. What we will do is the question. Okay, so I think we just have to take the kill there. So trade System Patrol Craft off the board. I do really want to see a space counter. Um, okay, he plays a Cloud City Wingguard. We will have Boss arrive and take out the Wingguard, taking 2 damage when he arrives. I do need to draw something that will deal with that defender. That's the main threat to me at this point. The ground arena is looking great. My opponent plays Inferno 4, getting to look at the top 2 cards, put any number of them on the bottom of the deck and the rest on top in any order. We only have 1 Imperial unit on the board right now, so max firepower will not kill the defender, which is very annoying. I will. I think I will Snow Trooper Lieutenant Tarkin into the opponent's base for 6, put an experience on the lieutenant. My opponent hits in there. I will hit his base for 3. I guess we're winning this race anyway, so maybe I don't care about the defender. Take the initiative. No max firepower still. I will lead off with the Homestead Militia into the base for 3. I guess I actually just have lethal this turn. This is a weird game. He repairs his base for 3. Okay, that might mean I don't have lethal. I actually don't know. I will play General Veers, giving my Imperial units +1/+1. Crafty Smuggler has no option other than trading with my Homestead Militia, but he'll take the trade. I will go ahead and have Tarkin hit the base and buff my lieutenant. My lieutenant can hit the base for another 5, and then Boff can hit for 4, so I do have lethal this turn, I believe, thanks to Veers getting me barely over the necessary amount after that repair was played. He hits my base for 4. Uh, Two experience counters and Veers means that's 5. Um, and yep, that's game. Boss takes it out. Okay, so that was an interesting game. Didn't end up really having a way to interact with his defender as much. Was hoping to draw max firepower and didn't do it. But I got so much value out of Tarkin and the situation in the ground arena that it didn't matter. Ultimately, a clean win. The only card my opponent had was a volunteer soldier, which would have been very ineffective. I don't know. I think that this game, I feel like I had a big advantage in the draft phase. It felt like a lot of the units that my opponent was playing were just not necessarily all that good. He did have the Seventh Fleet Defender, which is really good. Inferno 4 is solid. This stuff is pretty good. But over here, it didn't really feel to me like it was like the strongest units possible. There were cards like, the medical droid, the wilderness fighter. There were just some cards that I thought were not necessarily that exciting. The volunteer soldier, another example of this. So, ultimately, one thing about the draft is that depend on how well you drafted and what colors you chose and that stuff. Sometimes you do end up in a situation where you have a substantial card quality advantage or disadvantage. And in this case, I think I had the advantage. So with that, we do win and go 2-1 for draft matches. 2-0 for the games in this match, but 2-1 as a whole means I'm happy with the draft, especially given how cool the one was. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. Thanks to you all for watching, and we'll be back later with some more Star Wars Unlimited content. I will catch you guys later.